planned to say this, but I have a background as a lecturer in mathematics and statistics, so this really gives me more feeling. So if I start to give some lectures around the statistics, don't stop me. Okay, so I have the honor to introduce this, and I'll start with a question, or a statement I should say. Do you know that Sweden is the second place in the ranking of the most innovative countries in the world? And I think this is something we should be really, really proud of. And it's a real measurement, actually. This is coming from Bloomberg. And the index is based on several areas. It goes from the concentration of tech companies to the number of students in engineering and in science. So I think this is something we should be really, really proud of. But do you know who is on the #1 position? No. Then maybe you have a newer list than I have. No, it's South Korea. Driven by Samsung quite a lot. We should keep this in mind during the day, I think. My name is Charlotte. I'm 2 weeks young or old in the ICT division in RISE. And it is a great proudness and humbleness I'm standing here in front of you, and also to be part of the RISE family, including with the partnership of the industry and the government and all the public representatives from the public sectors that we have here. It's quite bright. Don't touch anything. I mean, if there is anything... If there is anything I've learned about technology, if it works, don't touch it. Is this okay for you in the back as well? Alright, so before we start with the fantastic agenda, I think we should have a just small reflection what has happened during the last hundreds of years. We don't remember what happened actually in 1780, but this was the start of the Industry 1.0, you could say. We call it mechanization. It was driven by the water, the steam power, and we saw the first mechanical production facility. It's more than 200 years ago. Then we had to wait for another 100 years, and then we go to what we call electrification, the second phase of the industry. And here, I don't think that we have had a T4, but if you remember, this was when we had the mass production of T4, and we also saw the first electricity-powered assembly line. Another 100 years. We have the Industry 3.0, which we call the automation. And here we saw the first programmable logistic controller. And this enabled production automation through the use of electronics and IT systems. And this is only some 30 years ago. And how many years do we need to wait? And how fast is the evolution going nowadays? Today we are in what we call the fourth industry revolution. We are, I think it's difficult to say we are in the beginning, in the midst, or at the end of it. But I know we are very close to it, at least in the RISE, and we will see a lot of demonstrations from 4.0 today. This is when we are surrounded by connected devices, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and we will even more automate the processes that we have. What is so cool with this is that all the manufacturers, they can connect the machines to the cloud. And by that, they can actually build their own IoT or industrial IoT. And this is really cool. The change that we see is also that this will create new business models. Or we need new business models. We will also see a higher demand from the customer, new customer demand. And we will also see a possibility to growth in the company, in the business. What I think is important is that we need to look beyond the machines and also take into account the cooperation between the machine and the human. And then the question is, do we need to wait another 100 years for this to come? I think the answer is no. I think we're already facing 5.0. And I think there is a huge overlap and parallelism between 4.0 and 5.0. I also think that the phases will go faster and faster. And there will not be these sharp cuts between the phases. And we need to be prepared for this. The focus of this fifth revolution will be the cooperation between man and the machine. And for us, for Sweden, to continue to stay in the pole position, maybe climb from number 2 to number 1, is that we actually can understand what is coming around the corner. What is the sixth revolution coming? What do we need to know? What kind of competence is needed? And I see some colleagues from my former employer Ericsson here, and I attended the Ericsson Research Day 2 days ago. And I was in a discussion, and it came up that we need to be much better in forecasting what competence is needed. And we need to work together, business, public sector, academia, and research. And I would like to just say a quote. It says, 10 years from now, when we look back at how this era of big data evolved, we will be stunned at how uninformed we used to be when we made decisions. So that is the future we are facing. Therefore, I'm very proud to be part of RISE, because I think with the new RISE, we have the platform, and we also have the enablers to use the strength that we have in RISE. But to use this potential fully, we need to work together with national and international partners, and we also need to be a familiar hub in the innovative landscape in Sweden, but also internationally. And we need to secure a sustainable business. And that is why I'm so happy to be here, not only with the RISE hat on me, but also to see all our guests and the partner participating in this open house. Huh? Okay. Okay. Now you're getting scared. Is she going to tell everything about the agenda? No. But I just want us to spend a few seconds on the agenda and really digest all the fancy and the high technologies demonstration that we will experience today. So there will be a lot of presentations in the morning and very interesting demos in the afternoon when we have the open house. And this is actually presented by ICT. The RISE ICT. The theme of the day is data-driven and innovation and AI for the benefit of society. And when you see this, you also understand how much competence, how much experience, knowledge we have in RISE and ICT. So I thought I should just share a snapshot with you how it can look like when we have discussions about our topics. And I would like to show a short film. Can you show that? I hope this is the right one, so it's not... That's a normal discussion over lunch, RISE ICT. With that, I formally declare the ICT Open House open, and I really warmly welcome you to this event, guests, partner, colleagues, and I hand over to Safe. Thank you.